Okay, one of the things we haven't talked about is the placing of terror tokens during the solo game. Now, in the main game, you might recall that when you enter a chamber where there's a terror token, and they've been placed by the alien lifeform player in the main game, you draw a terror card and there's decisions upon it. Well, the terror cards aren't part of the solo game. They have a different function. So how do they work? Well, as I mentioned in the other vid, it's a good reminder for you if you place the terror tokens, 4 of them, on the self-destruct track, just as a quick reminder as you're going. And what happens is, so there are 3 terror tokens are placed during setup. So you've got 1 in the shuttle bay, you've got 1 in mining equipment on B deck, and you've got 1 in the cockpit. And you've got 4 that will be added along the self-destruct track when the tracker meets it. But there's a 3rd way as well, and that is on some of the crisis cards. They're only ever placed, and you can see on here, with an option C, and it says hesitate, move back, and terror token. Now, what that means is you take a terror token from your supply and then you place that. So I'll give you an example. Okay, so we're in storage hold 1 and we want to move into ventral access. So we've looked at this particular crisis card, and we've chosen option C, which is hesitate, move back, and terror. So let's say, for the sake of this, that we're in the storage hold, nothing else happens, we move back, we don't trigger another movement reaction or anything, and we place a terror token from supply in the room that we vacated, meaning you're scared of something in the dark, or you think the life form's close, but basically it's giving you the heebie-jeebies, and it's a disincentive to go that way. Like I say, that's the only other way they get added, is through option C, move back and terror token. Now, what do they do? Well, they are particularly pernicious in that if you don't get rid of them and move on to one, you put it on the fear track on your character control board, and as you can see, there's 4 faded spaces for terror tokens and the nerve item here. Now, if they ever meet up, as in let's take these off, let's say you've moved into a number of chambers and you place 4, the moment you would move into another chamber, say absorb the token and place the 5th terror token on nerve, that would mean your game was over. There's no way to prevent that. Or likewise, if you've placed a couple or what have you, when the nerve token moves down, again by a crisis card, here's one, option C again, lose nerve. Forget what the other options say. Lose nerve, move you along. If ever your nerve token coexists on the same space as a terror token, it's game over. So, and as you cannot remove terror tokens currently from the overlay, the character control board, the best thing to do is to make sure you don't move on to one. But there are other ways. There's ways of getting rid of them from the game board. So I'll give you an example of how you can do that. What have we got? So we're over here or whatever. Okay, let's put a terror token down. Again, you're in dorsal access, you're the captain, and in storage hold 1 is where you want to go because there's 2 tokens that you want to pick up, but there's a terror token there. So you decide to remove it before moving. So you can either do that by, let's say you've picked up this, or I'll give you, use the mining laser from the adjacent room, destroys that, it's gone from the game. Puts back into supply. Same with the flamethrower. You can do that from adjacent room. Whoosh, just ditch the card, again, the token gone. You can also complete an explore action on one of your crew cards. Let's have a look at that. If you remember from the main game, this is where having these, here we are, explore, the magnifying glass, the second icon down here. If you ditch that into your discard pile, again, that allows you to remove the terror token. And oh yeah, harpoons, nearly forgot those. If you've got a harpoon token, you've already picked one up, or you've collected one off a crisis card, say you found one in a weapons locker or something, you can discard the terror token. You can discard the terror token by using the harpoon, but it's got to be in the adjacent room. You can't do it before moving, or after you've moved. And that is basically how the terror tokens work in the solo game. So hopefully that was of some aid to you. Okay, cheers.